music. And hello everyone, I'm Dan Lutz, and I'm here with my co-host.
Hank?
And we're here on the front lines, a bit late, but we're here in the battle against the deep state, the cabal, the Illuminadonkeys, and all those that wish to enslave all of humanity for their own selfish reasons. How's it going, Tank?
Well, you know, there's a pandemic out there, but it's a big pandemic. It is making a whole lot of fear for really the wrong reasons. You know, there's lots of reports here in New York. Now, I don't have any solid report from Kim. However, I did ask Kim tonight about, you know, I basically asked her, like, you know, doesn't all this fear, all the fear mongering that's happening, doesn't have a major impact, you know, on the collective consciousness of everyone, right? It's going to really have horrible consequences, right? And she said, not if you don't let it. Now, what I recommend to everybody out there is, when I read those words, now it was written to me, but I took that personally. Not if you don't let it.
I think it was meant personally.
Well, it might have been meant personally, but I think it should be something taken personally for everyone.
Right.
And so I'm just saying that forward. You know, how she meant it is, you know, subjective. I mean, only she knows. But I will say this about that is, you know, there's you have this, all of this nonsense that's taking place, right, on the government level. And you have these two factions that are warring against each other. You have the Rothschilds and the Order of the Black Sun. Now, you know, Tony was talking about this last night, saying that really the Order of the Black Sun, you know, the Kennedys were part of the Order of the Black Sun, right? They were one of the bloodline families here in the U.S. And they hated the Rothschilds, right?
Right.
That's why Bush was one of the Rothschilds. I don't think he was black at the time, but he's the one that set up the assassination for JFK, right?
Right.
Because JFK made a deal with Sukarno. He was going to, you know, bring in billions of dollars, right? So Tommy put out some, you know, great pictures that, you know, Kim gave me a long time ago. They're really valuable, right? These $1 billion notes from JFK. I think actually Tui mentioned them, right?
Yeah, well, I've held one of them. Hello?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. I said I held one of them in Laos at Swisindo. Swisindo had one.
Yeah. I mean, that was because Sukarno was over Swisindo, right? He founded it. So
You're fading.
long-standing
You're
deal.
fading in and out.
Do my best here. So you basically have, all this talk of JFK Jr. now, and but then now I don't know if the Order of the Black Sun, back then was something different, but JFK was part of it, right? And the Kennedy family was part of it. But now it's become, I don't know if it was always the Order of Assassins. I don't know, but I know that's what it is now, and it's being head up by Obama, and the plan is to destroy the government, right? I can also say that, this whole group of white hats, right, that their path is to bring this in. It's just the exact same way. But they don't realize all of them are still being controlled by Marduk, right? And they can't bring this money in unless they where the money was. The problem is this, for them anyway, the problem is it's Kim. And Kim is human. She represents humanity, right? So here is the real fight going on. You have guys who think that they're reptilian Anunnaki, or they have son, they think they're from descended from some other creature or whatever it is, right? Then you have Kim, who's 99.8% the human animal, right?
You're breaking up. We couldn't hear that last part. I think you said
Then
Kim
you
was
have-
99%.
And you have the third, so to speak, right? Who is 99 bioidentical to the original mitochondrial Eve on the first woman to ever walk the earth. And that means she is related, according to the haplo-K research that's been done, that means she's related to every single person on this planet. That's what that means. So what that means is she is the human representative who is in place to take back the authority, restore and revitalize all of humanity to a proper place of being allowed to care for and be the guardians responsible for the planet, for the people, and for all life on Earth. And the other side is that is what it comes down to. So this really comes down to humanity stepping up, right? You can't say about all the time. If somebody walks in a room and everybody bows to them, because they're so powerful, because everybody bows, the natural, when you look up, all you see is them. So the natural instinct is to think, look, they're above me. But if one person stands up, which is what we're doing, right? Then you have everybody else stands up. That person just kind of fades out. They're not so impressive. They're not so powerful. They don't possess anything that you don't. They don't have any powers that any one of us don't have.
So that they just as a perspective. So if someone is, if they are from that position of being above, right, and they're seeing everyone as below, they have a perspective of two sides, above and below. If everyone stands up, they think that the others are standing up to be above them. And it's
Right.
not true, right? We're standing up to be equal and represent everyone as being on an equal basis, right? But they have the problem. They created this system of who is above someone else, right? Not everyone having equal rights. It's not about they don't see that they have more rights to everything. And if you stand up against them, like within their own factions, each one is
Right.
saying, "Well, I'm above you." Right? There's a which one is the more favored of the one above all, right? Who sits at the right hand of God? Right? So they have this problem. It's their perspective that is the problem.
Right. And that is the issue, right? And I don't know, like right now in Central Park, saying that that it's the Patriots, and they're going in, right, and based on something you wrote down, right, and you and I were talking about. Now, one of my guys personally was down there today, right, down in Central Park, and so this is firsthand. You know, he got firsthand pictures. He was giving me a report, and he's, you know, former military guy, so he's giving me pictures, all types of stuff, right? Now, we know that there's an extensive, you know, underground system in New York City, right? Like, that's gone on for a long time. Now, Wonderland, I know they want to say is New York City. I would argue that Wonderland is the dungeon that is like an amusement park for pedophiles beneath the city.
Yeah, I go along with that. I think that's right. When I, you know, I think it's what's under
Yeah.
the city.
Right. So, now that being said, right, you got pictures, there's nothing going on there other than the setup of these mass units, right? Those are there. But here's the question that I have about that. They're there, called, I believe it's Samaritan Hearst, right? That's an organization founded by Billy Graham, right? And they're there claiming to help kids. But we all know Billy Graham's a pile of garbage, right? And we know for a fact that Samaritan Hearst has been directly involved with trafficking, right? So here's where it gets confusing, right? That doesn't mean that anybody who volunteers and works for Samaritan Hearst is bad at trafficking kids, right? But it does bring into question what's happening. Right now, anyways, you have all these people, you know, one group's claiming is there for the coronavirus, another group's there claiming the rest of it. You know, and from an outside perspective, well, we know that there are mass shootings there. It's America's first death. Now, it doesn't.
Losing you, Tank. Losing you.
Sorry. Yeah. It doesn't mean that you know, Samaritan Hearst is their trafficking kid. I don't know. I'm just saying, if the more you know, the more confusing. You know, that's my thing right now. Is yeah, I'd like clarity. And I'll tell you what, Dan, here's what I want to happen. If they're saving kids there, right? There isn't anybody in the media out there in the alternative media or anywhere else that is more suited than us at the Speed Project to go down there and report on it. Nobody.
Yeah.
Let us go down, gather the information, let us film it, let us talk about it publicly. You know, our collective team, we have a whole team dedicated to fighting human trafficking, you know, fighting children being abused this way. Parents who have gone through it, fought the system, stood up in it, right? So, you know, let them know. Out there in the Pentagon, there's, you know, different agencies. If you are the good guys, if you're really the good guys, there is no path that leads to a good ending where the people do not know what's really going on there.
Right.
None.
We have to deal with it. We're not children, right? We're not to be protected from the information. The adults have to stand up and take care of the situation, because you can't deny us knowing what's been going on, all of the details. Whoever is going to basically drag down, you know, they have to go down. That's part of the problem, right? Is that, you know, someone gets into the protective. Well, you know, we made a deal to save this person. Okay, fine. You know, make sure that deal doesn't mean that they have their own mansion with a running tap of children. You know, how do we know unless we also know what's going on? You know, those deals they have to be brought down. They're not going to continue to be, you know, the the role models for society, if they had that position, they can never have that again.
I agree. And they also can't be, lauded, like, applauded for their incredible works because they saved the day now, right? Because of, whatever fill in the blank bullshit foundation, this, because of them, these kids were saved. Really? I swear to God, Bill Gates, I have thought about this extensively. Everything about Bill Gates should be put into a hole and buried. Everything.
I agree.
Everything.
In fact, I've had this opinion since like the 80s. This has been like, I've known him to be an evil man, not from the standpoint of any of the stuff we're talking about now, only from the standpoint of the technology of the role that Microsoft played. I said, this guy is evil, right? And he harms the industry, harms people, harms businesses. So, but that just extends to everything else, obviously, in his life. How is he going to like look to save people through vaccines when he's openly said that we're going to control the population of the world and bring it down through vaccines? They don't fit together. You're not trying to save people with vaccines if you're looking to kill them with vaccines. They're not the same thing.
Well, how the hell does vaccines reduce the population by 15-20%?
Right.
What are you talking about?
Well, that's innovating.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's innovating to zero. It's not actually down to 15%. It's down to zero population. He's innovating to zero. That's his thing. Right? How do you manufacture a zero population? That's what he's going for. Because he says, he says one of these factors has to, in order for us to bring this down to zero, one of these numbers has to go to zero. Population, that this or this, right? So which one is he trying to bring down to zero? Population zero. The people.
It's so profoundly
because again, they don't think of themselves as part of the people, right? They are not part of us. They don't consider themselves human. They're something above human. So why would he want to kill himself? Don't think that way. He doesn't think that he's human.
Right. This Banner of Eugenics was talked about by this really brilliant speaker. And he was talking about saying, now, imagine if you decided certain attributes were and others weren't, right? He just started to breed in and, have these kind of, these luxury concierge babies. Maybe you'll be blue eyes and be a mixture of Italian and, Guatemalan and have the perfect skin tone. And they'll be 6 foot tall and they'll become an athlete and they'll have someone else who is they'll have genetics of a doctor. And all this, and very specifically, you can culture the DNA to be exactly the person that you think you want, right? All the attributes you think. And you do away with all that is unique and special and flawed and perfect about humanity. All these, perfect, amazing details that, Leonardo da Vinci would draw a picture of ugly people intentionally so that he could study their details and appreciate them, who they were, right? And I'm not trying to, I'm just using that hyperbolic example, but, the idea that someone's life isn't existent is not something that can be in the hands of anyone than God, source of the universe. The fact that the universe thought to bring someone about to exist is the case. And how can you argue the infinite wisdom of the all, right? The all that is, all that's ever been, bring something from God, right? And that's why, you have, movies like Private Ryan, or, 10 soldiers are lost to the one. Because we value the unique individual human experiences of people. It's what's so valuable. It's what makes us unique, right? That emotional connection we have with one another to care. Nobody, right? Like, only take a person. It's amazing, what's happening right now is that you have this one sovereign entire planet, right? And all it really takes is for one of these countries that are all dependent. And what Kim gave U.S. well, so they can nationalize it for $1. And all she wanted was one Sacagawea dollar sent back to her as payment. And she was giving it to the U.S. as a failed asset. Now, if they would have just paid that $1 back, this whole thing would be over.
Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, that's what it takes, because sovereignty has to be acknowledged by two economists.
Yeah.
So in giving someone their sovereignty, which is what she offered the United States, it doesn't matter. It does not matter if we do not accept it. So I got to be honest. I thought about it, in forming this alliance with the Iroquois. In their own nation. The United States has always dealt with them as their own country.
Yes.
So I thought, I don't care what Trump says or anybody else at this point. The Congress, everyone, they are a corporation. You do not need your acknowledgement for anything. I'm just going to acknowledge Kim, or somehow myself. Us as an assembly, we're going to recognize Kim as a sovereign. And if that's what it takes to for us to be free. And I don't know, but it doesn't make sense to me that we're all waiting on this corporation to do the right thing, or to, but right now, everybody's waiting on, this, these emergency relief packages. But that's not coming in. That money's never going to come in until they pay the 2% back to the trust.
So what are they going to do in 2 weeks when, because Mnuchin was out there today saying, well, it was going to be 3 weeks. Now I'm coming to you, I'm telling you it's 2 weeks. We're getting these checks out to people.
He said 3 weeks ago it was going to be 2 weeks.
Now he's
So
saying,
you know what we're doing?
now he's saying it's 2 weeks.
Now 3 weeks ago he said it was 2 weeks from then. Now 3 weeks ago by.
Yeah.
So what happened? Exactly what we said happened. The money was brought in. They should, if they would have done what they were told, right? The Treasury would have just paid the money back to the trust as they were supposed to, as they agreed. We would all have checks right now. Matter of fact, we probably have a lot more money, and be actually delegating and delivering for it. But so what will we be doing in 2 weeks? Well, it's up to the government, I guess, right? What we'll be doing is either talking about how it's going to be 2 more weeks, or we talk about, hey, we finally broke through, I guess, right? But in 2 weeks, I'm telling you, if they do not do what they're supposed to do and honor their agreement to pay back the mandatory 2% fee back to Kim, nobody will have a dime. And this is a great standoff right now, right?
Yep, this is it.
So they want, they have beaten Kim up for 8 years, while Kim has taken everything from them. While they were focused on the little things, thinking eventually they'll starve her out. I'm like, do you guys even know who this is? You think you could starve her out? The one that they worshipped as a god, they would have done anything. He's not on this planet anymore. He's gone, dead. He'll never be in this dimension again. And that came at her hand. It seems like they'd have the intelligence and the fear and the respect to know, because they love fear, right? They love fear. They do everything out of fear, right? So it seems like they'd have enough fear and respect to realize we should stop.
Well, now they
We should make sure.
Well, now they have fear of not having money in 2 weeks. The pressure is on. The standoff is turning up the pressure. What are they going to do when there's no money? You know, can they go to work the next day?
They always do. Nothing.
Nothing.
Honor. Nothing. Warfare is without honor. They are not worthy to even fight in the battle, as far as I'm concerned. If you don't understand the basic laws of war, the basic principles of respecting the treaties that are in place that you agreed to, and these are, treaties are the supreme law of the land, and this whole land and the sea. You don't get around it because you put some bullshit thing in there with claws and put the water line at the top of Mount Everest. Doesn't matter. You either do business with Kim or you're done doing business, period. And that is an inevitable demise. No matter how they cut it, she has proven when they were at their peak, when they had all the money, when they could do anything they wanted, she never compromised. So,
well, they just don't want to. They don't want to say that she's sovereign over them. That's what it is, right? Again, then it's all about positioning. That they're above everyone. So how can someone who wasn't already above them come and be now this in control of everything? So it goes against everything they are. So this is why it's so hard. So they have to come to the realization they're either going to die from their own hand, right? Because they won't be able to deal with it, right? There can't be someone above me. That attitude.
well, it's funny. I got the same attitude. And Kim says this all the time. If Source is in us, right? Then the only thing we're looking to is that Source. And that's their problem.
Yeah.
They don't know how to tap into
okay, I know what you're saying now.
Source.
You broke up a little bit. I thought you said if Soros is in us. So where are you going with this? Soros is not in me, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
That would be a real turn in the conversation, wouldn't it?
Yeah, where are you going with this?
God is in us. God is in us. Then,
Yeah, Soros is listening. Yeah. He said, "Oh, he got it right."
Yeah, if he sopped up a biscuit with his giant tongue from his whatever moved his head. Wrong, man. Yeah, it's time, man. It's really time, and I when Kim, that was just a little statement. It wasn't, I'm sure, I take everything personally, and I don't get offended, but I take things personally. I try to take responsibility for everything going on, in my life, which, we share a collective life in a lot of ways, all of us, right?
Right.
So I just feel like the more responsibility we take and stop looking for something else outside of us. Now, I don't have an exact course as far as what that looks like. I don't know. I just know that, I refuse to, stay a prisoner in my home because of a fake virus that they created and tried to exaggerate. I refuse to pretend like what I see at these hospitals, because I've gone to two of the major, worst hospitals, and I've seen there is nothing going on. There is no drama. If anything, there is lots of stuff that is built that is empty, and they are preparing to do something, but they don't have the power to do it. You know. So we have a choice right now. I'm telling you, this what's on the table right now. There's people on Long Island. I got reports today of people just begging, flee, lock everything down. You don't even realize what's happening when people lose and they become slaves. Because they were beaten. If you are resisting, you will never be a slave. If you are standing, taking ownership, no one can enslave you. They'll have to kill you, right? But where we lose our free chance is when they create a exaggerated version of a tragedy, and it makes us all worried and afraid. So then we willingly walk into the gas chambers, right? We willingly turn over our. Don't do it. This is why it's so important for every single state to pull together an assembly of the people.
Yeah.
To have an assembly that represents the will of the people, the collective vote of people who know the people, who are in tune with the people, who are working with the people, who represent their interests, right? Allow the people to come voice their grievance, and then people stand together to fight back when they are violated in some way. These things are considered acts of war against the people. But if the people are so docile, beaten up, and ignorant, that they realize that they're being attacked, why would you ever fight back?
Right. Yep.
That's where we have to really approach this from a standpoint of being educators as well. Ownership of this, make kids know and our.
Part of the education that I think Trump is doing right now is because I was watching the briefing today, and what they were talking about is, the individual states, they have their own management that was elected, right? There's the governor, and then the cities. So what's showing up right now through this is who are good managers and who's not a good manager. And so this is part of the education that they're presenting to the people. Is like, those out there that, so for example, he's pointing out the Como had several times where he was, he could have purchased. In fact, his health department said there's going to be a shortage of ventilators if we have a pandemic.
Yeah.
Right? So there'll be a shortage. So he said, figure out a plan how we'll ration them. How do you ration a breathing device? Okay, give it to you. All right, now pass it to the next person. All right. Okay, you take a breath now. Okay, pass it to the next person. How do you ration that? Why would you think that's an option? But instead, he put money into things that bore no fruit. Hundreds of millions of dollars gone, right? But he could have bought the ventilators cheap.
Right, and solar panels, right? Probably from Nancy Pelosi's husband.
Right, exactly. So then they were talking about the other, like Jared Kushner, he was speaking today, and he was basically saying, "This is what I do." They were questioning, "Oh, I need help. Send us 1,000 ventilators." He said, "Okay, how many do you have?" "Well, I don't know how many we have." "Well, then how do you know how many you need?" You find out how many you have. Find out from all your hospitals. "Well, we checked, right?" And they only check with the public hospitals. "Well, what about the private hospitals? Did you check with them?" "No." "Okay, well, go back and check with the private hospitals. See how many you have, right? Then see how you can allocate them." So he has to basically, put them in a position of managing, right? Why are you asking the federal government when you guys should be able to manage your own stuff, right? You guys have your own government. You need to govern. You need to manage, and they're not managing. So he was just pointing this stuff out. So this is, again, educating the public as to you got to make sure who you're electing to put in charge of managing the government are good managers, which means they should be good business people. Right? They should have had the, tried out business and been successful in business, to be good managers. You don't take someone who's never managed anyone and elect them. It's like, even Ronald Reagan, he didn't start off as president. He was governor of California, and he didn't start off as governor of California right from there. He actually rose through he was like head of the Screen Actors Guild or something like that, so he managed that. So he had something behind, and I'm sure he had some sort of other businesses he was involved with. I don't know. He managed a ranch, right? That's a business, right? But if you've never managed anything, how can you put them in charge of managing you?
Right.
Yeah. So all the movie stars completely out of the running unless they've managed something else.
Right. I mean, but what they do is they don't want somebody to manage anything.
Well, that's
they
true.
Soldiers, they want soldiers and actors, right? Yeah. Actors are they're thought so well of because they act. They can act like whatever you want, right? Act like a manager, act like a leader, act like a villain. That's why they love them so much. Act like this really upsets you, right? Even though you participated in it.
Right.
Act like you're appalled at something. Like right now, it's like Bernie Sanders is jumping at the opportunity to use this, this Corona, farce to basically implement socialism.
Right.
I can't wait. Try to implement this, right?
Right.
And then, and I love everything. I love what President Trump has done. And you know what? Right now, I'm disappointed. I know that you have soldiers out there, in the military, who really don't realize what's going on. You've got agencies out there who they think they're in the know and think, who am I to question them? They have all this great agency training. At the end of the day, you are people. You are making decisions about other people. And if your choice is if you think you're making choices for the greater good, then the question really comes down to the greater good of who? Because if you start making decisions that you're going to commit genocide because the planet needs it, well, I mean, how ignorant can you be? I mean, obviously you know that's not true. You know that there's
Hello? 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 No volume. All right. Well, he's on mute. He might have got a call now, so maybe that's what it is. Oh, you're back? Hello?
Hey, sorry about that.
It's okay. It happens.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all right.
If you just got rid of WhatsApp, then it wouldn't happen anymore.
Really?
Yeah. WhatsApp's the one that interrupts you. I guess
WhatsApp does it.
Yeah, I guess a regular phone would do it too, but that's why if it's just your regular cell service, that would interrupt as well. But WhatsApp does it.
Yeah.
Other ones kind of less will be in the background. They won't interrupt with your other audio functions.
Yeah. So anyways, but I don't know. I expect good things to come my way. I'm just looking at all this and all the confusion and lies, and I really, this whole idea, they want to create an asset where there isn't one, right? If you want to create an asset, you have to have an asset base.
Yeah.
and they don't have any assets.
Right.
So what exactly are they negotiating with? Their reputation? Their success in business? Of what? Trafficking people? Like,
It's, you know, yeah. It's, so, I mean, they don't have anything to negotiate with. You're right, right? Except for their positions in which they've been able to, act out of people act out of the memory of, hey, this guy was in charge. I know he's in charge. I'll listen to him. That's all they have left, right? Eventually, they can't. Those people are not getting paid, right? So this money that is scheduled to go out to people, and Mnuchin is saying, oh, it's going to be out. The checks are going to be out in 2 weeks. So, if they're not able to put those checks out, it's a big incentive for them to basically say, hey, what's going on? Why can't you send the money?
But they're so used to lying to everyone. That they, but it's our fault in this sense, right? Like, I'm not one to blame the people, but if we don't do anything, if we continue to sit in our homes and wait, what are we waiting on? I mean, we have very clear evidence that they're lying about the severity of this virus. So, and to be honest, we know that, they made claim to a Pentagon task force that didn't exist, right? Saving all these kids. Now reports are out there to say, oh, there's 100,000 kids on New York. Prove it. Show me the kids. Don't show me an ankle of a woman in some hospital with a drop ceiling that clearly isn't in Central Park.
Right.
And because people are lazy when they look at things, they just assume it's Central Park because it's white.
Right.
And it won't do anymore. Getting glimpses of lying intel, right? Intel that does not tell the whole story, that you can only speculate about, and getting clues is not okay anymore. The people have, as far as full disclosure, I could care less if people get full disclosure on aliens. What they need full disclosure on is, where are our kids?
Right.
Right? What has happened to the offspring of humanity? They're laying, that allegedly, not allegedly, we know that they practice horrible things, right? How could we possibly let that go on? So, I want to see, I really think it is like my friend from St. Louis always says, he said, I come from the show me state.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Show me.
Yeah, show me. So. Well, that's it. This is after after Easter, everything should be the discussion of what are we going to do with all these people that have been trafficking our kids? Where are they? How do we find them? Right, and the witch hunt really begins, hunting for the witches, hunting for the evil people.
It's not even a question. Really. I witnessed this, right? It's like there's an abuser. Now, oftentimes, let's say there's kids that are molested and raped and abused. And let's say most of the time it's the man. And so everybody wants to jump on and say, oh, men, they're abusive, whatever. Well, the mother who allowed it to happen, she's just as guilty.
Yeah.
She sat there and allowed it to take place, didn't do anything about it. She's just as guilty. Now, apply that same principle to every single one of these animals out there who has known it's going on, they have done nothing. Not just the ones who participate. everyone who knew that, Senator so-and-so had a thing for little boys. Everyone who knew that Joe Biden, who had the ability to do something about it, knew that Joe Biden was a creep and making deals, with other, elite families for the, to do something horrible with their little girl, and to worry innocent and pure and beautiful about our kids. Every person who allowed it to go on, they're liable. Take their homes, take their fortunes. They don't have to be prisoners. They can go down and they can work like everybody else. God forbid. That's their punishment. But
Well,
they can't be in positions where we have to look to them for anything.
well,
They cannot be the ones who approve anything.
You know what? Joe Biden's trying to make another deal right now.
Oh yeah, what's his deal now?
Well, he's said that he wants to call Trump and talk with him about, giving him advice on the pandemic. Now, Trump said today, "Sure, I'll talk to him." Yeah, go ahead. So, but I have no illusions as to it being about the pandemic. He's calling to make a deal. That's what's going on. He wants to turn, or he wants to basically cut some kind of deal. That's what's going on with that. He's not calling to give advice on pandemics, otherwise, because that just brings up his ineffective record of what he did with the swine flu. They didn't act until 10,000 people died, or no, I'm sorry, 1,000 people died. How many people total died there? 13,000.
But look at it. I mean, we're not talking about Corona, right? The crown. We've all been subject to the rule of the crown, right? Now think about how that manifested. All of us, we lived in fear of the crown, right? And what do we live in fear of? Of death. So we had to be 6 feet under. So we got to stay 6 feet apart from each other.
Sure.
Right? So now, what are they doing? They're using neuro-linguistic programming to repeat the same exact thing that we were already through, to remind us. That's why it's spreading so fast. It's not the virus has nothing to do with this, modified cold virus. It has everything to do with the fear. Right. So you've got everyone right now under lock and key, living as prisoners right now because of underneath the rule of the coronavirus, under the rule of the crown. And the whole reason, the whole way to overcome the crown the whole time was to realize it's not that powerful. It's not that deadly. Yeah. They're not that important, that impressive. They're none of those things. All they are is talk and bluster. So because we keep letting them talk, we think it's terrifying. It's not. It's not. 6 feet away from each other.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah, people they require human touch to live a healthy life. It's not an option. You need that.
No.
You need to hold your kids. You need to, kiss your wife. Intimacy. All these things they're natural things for humanity. You need them. So separate everybody. Make everybody scared.
Well, I don't see how many people are going to be separating themselves in their homes from their kids and children. I'm sure it occurs, when people are really frightened, but they just don't get it.
I went to eat pizza tonight with my family, right?
Oh my goodness.
So I walk in the pizza place, and there's all the chairs and tables have been removed. So it's a bunch of people standing around 6 feet apart from each other, right? It's like a 7th grade dance, your first boys and girls dance. Everybody's apart from each other, right? Yeah. So this guy is there, and there's a bunch of people with masks on. This one guy doesn't mask on. He's like, "Where's all the sirens?" He just starts talking real loud. He's like, "Where's all the sirens? Where's all these hospitals that are crazy? There's nothing going on." He said, "What are you guys doing?" He goes, "You can't live in fear." He said, "This is what guy says, right?"
Yeah.
And then the other guy pulls down his desk and goes, "No, my dad knows an EMT. He said it's a war zone." He repeated the company line. So I turned to the guy and I couldn't keep my mouth shut. I said, "I was just at that hospital. That's a lie. It's not a war zone. There's no one even there. There's probably 15 people running the whole hospital. There's no one there. It's a lie." I went to Elmhurst and Nassau, North Shore, or South Shore of Mount Sinai.
Yeah, can you bring some chairs out here now?
Right. Yeah, please. Can we please stop this bullshit? Yeah.
Well, I hear Dave from X22. He actually did an interview with SGT Report, and he brought this up on there. Said, you know, he believes that the hospitals have been cleared out so that they could take in those children from under the ground. So,
you know what? And I'll tell you something. I will definitely know that if it's true, because I have connections in hospitals. I have well over 200 connections to doctors. If they start dealing with kids, and that's an honest report here in New York, I don't know.
that's good.
And matter of fact, in one of the main hospitals that's clearly cleared out is 4 blocks from my house, and I will go there every day. I went there today. I'll go there tomorrow. And I will go because I'm looking for evidence. I'm looking for signs of life. You know, if you're helping kids, show me.
Right.
Show me. So,
Yeah. Well, I think.
I hope they are, man. I hope they are. I'm cheering for them. Please, you know, do something good. Give humanity something to root for.
Well, the numbers I can't get a handle on, like how many are going to be underneath New York, right? You know, there's a lot of tents there, but that's not going to handle 10,000 kids, right? You know, that's going to handle a couple hundred kids, the amount of tents they have set up there. I mean,
If that.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe 100. You know, I'm thinking 25 per tent. You know, something like that, 50 per tent.
It'd probably be a stopover. It'd be like you stop before they go, and you probably have to assess them immediately to find out, because a lot of these kids, they're not going to recover.
Right.
Yeah. They're not going to be able to heal them.
Yeah. Because they're missing organs, right?
They're missing organs. They continually, they harvest their adrenaline and then they reharvest it. And then eventually kids stop being afraid. So no matter what you do anymore, they're not afraid.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody, we all do that.
Yeah.
So you stop producing your adrenaline, but they keep, draining their adrenaline, and then they harvest their organs and they use them for other things.
Yeah.
And there's a process in programming. So,
Yeah.
So let's hope, man. Look, hey, I'm a believer that, if we really recognize what we were doing, collectively, it can change. So I'm a believer that we are changing. I know it has to change. I know I will not compromise. I know others won't either. I know you won't compromise.
Yeah.
I know my whole team won't compromise. So I know there's those out there that will not allow this to be won no matter what happens. So I know we've already won the battle as well. I mean, we've already won the war. I know it's already won. There's no place for them. They have no money to turn to. They have nothing to draw on. They have none of the things. The only thing they have is you out there in the public, the collective mind of the people, and the people in position to do something. So the word repent, all it means is to change your mind. All we have to do is just get people to repent.
Yeah.
Change your mind. Change your mind. Don't go that way. Well, I got my friend.
Yeah. I just let me ask you one more thing. Yeah, we're close to an hour, but I spent a couple hours with about 3 different videos that were going over the attacks on the deep underground bases. So, and the one guy was going through a list of all of them, and it was like, at way over 200 different ones. So he went through, and then he was adding them. He was saying, they went into this one yesterday. And this is all like battle like blow by blow from the last 2 days, right? And they've gone in here, they went in here, went in here, went in here. They found more information, and then now we've got these new locations that they've now found because they, found out from the other locations. And he was talking about 3 different basic levels. The oldest that the Anunnaki first built were 800 miles beneath the surface of the planet, and then others are like 200, 300 miles below. And then the newer ones are the ones that we built, which are like, just 80 miles, 20 miles, 80 miles down. So, do you know? I haven't. I've known about individual locations, and then I knew that there were like, I've heard like 5 main big cities underground.
Yeah.
But I didn't know about 200 locations around the world. That seems like there's a lot, right? And and how big are they? And that. So, do you have any information about those particular locations that are being attacked around the world in the last 3 days?
I have a lot of reports, and I have, some of the stuff I know is happening that I wouldn't repeat just because it's operational that I believe is accurate. And then I know there's stuff going on, but I can't speak to it with any kind of authority, to say, like, I know some locations and stuff going on.
Well, this,
I know that, like, that earthquake.
Right, exactly. This guy's list, he had the longitude and latitude on there. So I took those and I went to the earthquake, right, system, right, or a website that shows all the earthquakes, and these were matching up. This is like they were matching up the dates. But then I only checked 4 of them, but all of them had earthquakes. Like that's one of the ones that were here in the Philippines were like 6, and they were like 40 miles down. So that makes sense to they would be in that range of the 20 to 80 mile down range that they're going after.
Yeah, I know that. I mean, I know that the one there was like from like Utah to Idaho, there was earthquakes, and I know that there's a forest there in Idaho that it holds rare earth elements that are essential for time travel. I didn't know. I know they have held rare earth elements. Tommy mentioned last night essential for time travel.
Oh, I didn't know that part either.
Yeah, they're going after them. So so there's some things like that that both sides, I guess, want. But there's things like that going on. But here's the problem I have is that who is it? Who is going after these things? Is it Earth Command? The Earth Alliance? Is it? Who are the good guys?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, the only people I know I can trust is, I know are good guys is, you and our team collectively. Like people that I know.
Yeah.
I trust Kim. I can trust Kim. I know Kim's not. I know she's got a whole team, but she's got an extensive team. Most of that is galactics. As far as I know, she doesn't talk to a whole lot of humans besides me and Donnie and a few other people. So,
well,
as far as I know, I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, I do trust Trump and the Patriots and the Q team as being behind this. Now, is this just one faction against another faction? I can't say, but it's kind of like the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of situation. Yeah. Okay, right. But in the end of this, we have to be in power. We have to basically create the new world. It can't be back into the same old system, right? No, that system is stupid.
I know. The system where you guys get to rule everything, we get to be your slaves. That system. Yeah. That system sucks. Yeah.
I keep listening now to Jimmy Dore. He's become one of the places I like to listen to him. He's a socialist. Wanting democratic socialism and all this kind of stuff, and I know it's not going to work. because all of that is just the other side of the same coin. We can't flip this coin anymore. You know, it's the same system. It's just another angle to it, and you just end up with the same people in power under a different color hat. And now they're wearing the red hat instead of the green hat. You know, and it's not so. But I completely understand. You know, it's like we're an abundant planet, right? We have so much here. There is no reason that people shouldn't have the ability to have food and clothing and shelter, right? As a basic, or health care, right? So, you know, but if you do the one payer system or universal health care or whatever that is, in the existing system, it just ends up making it another form of harvesting, another form of killing off people early, of doing things, because it's not going to give you the health care that you're looking for, right? So we have to have another system that will react differently, right? So anyway, I get the idea. So I like listening to it because he thinks through things. Like he's, you know, he at least he still is biased. Like he's against Trump, 100% against Trump, and I get it. But you know, but that's, you know, but he's still, you know, just like my other friend I told you about that is always wrong. Right? Is always wrong, but a very smart guy. Very. He's an attorney.
Wait, is that me? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, we're an attorney, and he work with the Treasury, and he's a kind of like undercover guy, and he's all this kind of stuff he does. But he knows the government side, right? So I could talk with him through all the issues, right? Mr. Encyclopedia, right? He's very smart, right? But he's always wrong. Well, at least 99%, not 100%. So even though he knows that I'm going to like do the opposite, he's going to give me his honest opinion, right? And I'm going to do the opposite, right? But it's so good to have that, right? Because you know you have that perspective, because you know if you have a compass that's always correct, or 99% correct all the time, you're going to follow the compass. But if you know it's wrong, pointing the opposite direction 100% of the 99% of the time, well then good. Go the opposite direction. You know exactly where you're going.
It's still useful, right?
It's still useful. It's still useful. So the base idea, even when I was in China, right, and I found out, you know, curiously enough, that they love their children, right, and they're kind to one another.
Yeah.
Right, but you know, they still have one of the conversations. They're very, let's just say they're racist, right? And I'm not trying to.
Yeah, they are.
But it's like everyone has to be like the top of the line, the top of the heap is the Chinese, right? So if you're not Chinese, and since I go to the Philippines, back to the Philippines, they would make comments about the Philippines, right? And they would say things like, "Why does the Philippines want to be friends with someone on the other side of the planet?" Right? They should be, working with us, right? Like we're their big brother. And I would say, do you like your big brother? Does your big brother pick on you? Do you want to be friends with your big brother? So I said back to them, right? Me on a personal basis, right? To point out, if you're not nice, why would they want to be friends with you? That's what I was pointing out. And of course, I was just using logic to overcome their it was rhetoric dogma, but it's just an interesting that I know that they want to be do, like I said, the best for their children. They want to prosper, right? As everyone else does, right? But you have to do it where you're not going to basically sacrifice other people, harvest other people's labor for yourself, right? Which is what they're offering, right? They're harvesting people, their labor source, as a way of ratcheting up their, But they had, this is also part of the karma. Communism was inflicted upon them by the Rothschilds, by the Bilderberg group, right? This was their plan. They purposely pushed communism there. It didn't start there, right? So
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so it was put there, and then they ended up killing all of their smart people. That's the first thing, the purge. Get rid of everyone.
That's the worst genocide in history.
Yeah, 120 million people dead, right? Because they were smart. They were the engineers, the scientists, the teachers. They killed them all.
Right.
So did that?
And the World Bank and the United Nations acknowledged them, like give them great recognition for what a wonderful job they did in controlling the population.
Sure. Yeah. Really. Yeah. But that harmed that society, right? It put them under, right? For how long did it keep them down? China could not rise, and when they do rise, right? Which they took advantage of the situation with vengeance against the West, which inflicted that upon them, right? So it's just the karma of it. So we gotta move past that all, right? It's like I hear like Steve Bannon, right, when he's talking about like according to the CCP, Chinese Communist Party, he's their number one enemy. I mean, he's on a list, publicly stated.
Wow.
Right? because he's really he's going out against them and he's talking about them, right? But he says that there's nothing wrong. The Chinese people are wonderful, hardworking, want the best for their families.
Yeah, just like that, and that's the key to everything.
Yeah.
The government is about we the people.
Yeah.
All governments are fictions, right? They're just set in place because the people allow them to be. All governments are contingent upon the will of the people.
Yeah.
You can't govern